All right. Well, welcome everyone to our Wisconsin Coalition for Social Connection Network meeting for April. My name is Suzanne Morley. I'm a health promotion program coordinator with the Wisconsin Institute for Healthy Aging, and I coordinate the Wisconsin Coalition for Social Connection. I encourage everyone to introduce yourselves in the chat. And our topic of the month is veterans and social connectedness. So for our icebreaker for today, I just encourage you to put one thing or one word that comes to mind when you think about veterans and social connection in your community, wherever that is. So I'll just leave it open for about a minute or so while that starts coming through the chat. Gratitude, art, love that. Proud, devoted service, brave, VFW activities, family, unity, DAV, camaraderie. Awesome. Well, I'll allow those to continue in the chat, but just want to kind of keep that theme going throughout our meeting today. So we do have a pretty packed agenda. We have 4 guest speakers, and each speaker will have about 12-ish minutes to share about the important work that they're doing. So we have Steve with Veterans Coffee and Conversations, Dana with the Wisconsin Veterans Home at Union Grove, Melissa with the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs, and Chelsea with the Toma VA. Then we'll end with some coalition updates and wrap up. And for our optional networking today, we'll have from 3 to 3:30. We'll end the recording. The speakers are welcome to stay on and encouraged to stay on, and we can continue discussion with them, or we can share about things that are happening locally in your communities, or you can ask questions of your peers that are on the call today too. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Steve. So Steve is going to talk about what's happening in Merrill, Wisconsin with the Veterans Coffee and Conversations. So Steve, I'll let you take it away from here.
Yeah, thank you, Suzanne, and thank the Wisconsin Institute for Healthy Aging. My name is Steve Sabatke. I'm co-founder of a get-together we call the Veterans Coffee and Conversation, which is today's subject. I am past commander of Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 10203. I'm second in command of AMVETS Post 2000. I'm an officer in the Lincoln County, Wisconsin Veterans Council, and I'm organizer of several annual events in Merrill, Wisconsin. I am a 100% Vietnam disabled war veteran. I have 3 conditions attributed to Agent Orange, including cancer. I'm completely blind in my left eye from a parasitic infection found only in Southeast Asia. A severe post-traumatic stress disorder, sleep apnea, night terrors, hearing loss, tinnitus, and maybe a couple other things. But so I'm not the poster boy for for disabled, but I'm trying to function. And one of the things we're doing is we started this veterans cup of coffee in Merrill. We had our first meeting just over a year ago, March 8th, with 8 attendees at a local cafe. Since then, we've grown to over 300 active participants. Not all of them come every week. We have about an average of 80 or 90 every week. And we have additional 170, 180 followers on Facebook, which are also veterans, and are encouraged to stop in, whenever they're in the area. Provided at no cost during this function, we get day-old pastries from Quick Trip and from a grocery store every week. Thank them very much. And we offer a limited menu of about 7 or 8 meals, good meals. Thank you for putting that up. And they get to pick from that, and we cover the costs of the meals. We also have a great big cup of coffee, one of these, I don't know how many gallons, like 10-gallon coffee pot, and veterans just go up and serve themselves. So what we're saying is that the veterans can show up and everything is free. We don't charge anything. we we don't put any pressure on veterans to spend any money there. We don't hit them up for raffles. We don't pass a hat for causes. So when a veteran shows up, they can feel completely relaxed. And we don't have an agenda for politics or for speeches or ask them to join anything. So it's just a place to hang out. Um, uh, we're in the process of developing this program, and I'll elaborate on them shortly. But the beginnings of this were a couple years ago. I arranged for a fundraiser for a down and out veteran. He had been homeless for a while. He's in trouble with his family. He's in trouble financially, addicted to substances. One thing he said to me, he said, I isolated myself when I was homeless because I can only talk to other veterans. He says, I can't be out in the general public. That was kind of the basis that got me going about having a veterans get together where we could just talk to each other. Another veteran, Paul Russ, who was a retired Army colonel, much younger than myself, uh, wanted to do something for veterans also. So together we started this Veterans Coffee and Conversation. Uh, we uh, we put together after just a few weeks. We got up to a number of veterans, 40, 50. And then we decided to the community kicked in and started giving us donations, and we had enough money to cover the meals and the other expenses. So we then decided to go a nonprofit, which was costly and had jumped through some hoops. Cost us about $700. But what that allowed us to do was to seek more funds, and as we sought more funds as a nonprofit, we decided to better define our mission. And I'll read our mission statement for our nonprofit group. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization with the goal of providing veterans with moral support, information of interest to veterans, helping get needed resource, and providing meals for those in need. We especially reach out to shut ins, PTSD sufferers, disabled, retirees, and self isolated veterans. Our main surface, our main service focus area is Lincoln County and Northern Marathon County. So, with that in mind, we proceeded to find out that many local veterans had physical and mental disabilities. We sought them out one by one, brought them in, and we found out once we brought them in, they came in with kind of scared and a scowl on his face, scowl. But you look around now and everybody's smiling. Okay, I believe that the disabled and the isolated just need to get out once in a while. And with veterans, when a veteran talks to a veteran, we have similar circumstances. Pardon me if I get choked up once in a while. Um, and there's always something to talk about. It's always uplifting. We get people telling jokes, and it's just a great casual time. Okay, then now a few weeks ago we took the next step forward. We reached out to the assisted care facilities and nursing homes. They're all full of veterans. There's a lot of veterans in this community, and we uh, we tried to get the relatives to bring them in. That worked with a few. We had some problems. One of them, a wife dropped off her husband and forgot to pick him up. Well, one of our veterans took him home, and she thought we kidnapped him. So we had to refine that policy. We then approached the mayor of Merrill, Wisconsin, and we have a wonderful bus service here called the Merrill-Go-Round, and he agreed to take veterans, pick them up at the nursing homes for $1, deliver them to our cup of coffee, and then deliver them back for $1. So we agreed to pay that amount, and that is starting to work fairly well. And the bus drivers and the veterans and everyone are just having a ball doing it. Uh, so we're growing that program, and we're getting better at it. The bus drivers have to adjust, and we have to adjust the schedules, but it's getting very successful. Then we found out that not all veterans, or not all veterans in the nursing homes can get up and go very easily. I mean, it might take them an hour to prepare them to get them going with all their disabilities. So what we decided on doing, we're doing this about 3 4 weeks. Once a month, we bring veterans a cup of coffee to them. We have them set up a table. We bring in donuts and coffee, and we just sit around the table. Let's say we've got 13 veterans at the home. We only supply like 2 or 3 or 4 tops veterans, so we don't overload it. And we just take turns telling stories around the table, and the residents are responding wonderfully. I had one story. I sat next to a guy, and he pokes me halfway through the program, and he says, "See that guy across the table?" He says, "That guy ain't talked that much in 5 years." He says. Matter of fact, I think that's no, that's not him, but on the picture. But the point being is that veterans, they're a special breed. They were taught to be indestructible and bulletproof. And now that they can't do that anymore, there's, you know, I think they regress. But by us reminding them that yes, you are a veteran, you're still important. You still have the stories. You have a wealth of stories and knowledge. We're bringing that back out, and I think we're being very successful at it. So that's a basic story of our little effort up here. How am I doing on time, Susan?
You got plenty of time if
Suzanne?
you want to share a little bit more.
Okay. Um, you see on the screen now, we have issued a life membership cards. This we laminate them and we give them to people on the back. It says you have uh, taken the oath to defend your country, and now you have and therefore you are qualified for all rights and privileges of our group. Again, this is something that veterans are taking with pride. I'm getting reports that in the homes that they are, propping these cards up on their shelf and looking at them all day. So also, we're using this card for the free bus pass. Uh, the mayor's having the bus drivers just have them flash their card. And as of today, we're actually going to expand that program further, and we're now going to offer. I don't have permission yet, but I'm going to say it anyway. We're going to extend these cards to be available to all veterans in the city for all week. So a veteran can get a ride to and from whatever place he wants, and then we're going to pay like $1 a pickup and $1 a delivery. I think we can afford that out of our funds. And also going forward, we have a combat veteran Marine that owns a grocery store in town. We're going to approach him on selling us discounted gift certificates where a veteran that can't afford a lot can maybe take the bus to his store, pick up $100 worth of groceries, and return for no cost. So the point is our program is expanding. We're seeing a lot of happy veterans. We're bringing out a lot of shutouts, shut-ins. I'm sorry, and we're developing pride with our community. Our community is taking notice. They're giving us donations, and it's working well for Merrill. And I encourage all communities to consider a program similar to this. How much time I have, Suzanne?
If you want to keep talking a couple minutes, feel free, but if you're ready to wrap up, that's totally okay too.
Yeah, I don't really know what else there is other than we continue to evolve, and I think we're doing good work. We had some veterans that were suicidal that came in, but when someone mentions that, all of a sudden a couple people sit next to them, and it's like me too, and they talk. So uh, the connections go further. And another thing is that in that group of 80, 90 people in a room, if a veteran has a question about anything, I'll guarantee you there's somebody in that room with an answer, knows how to get the answer. So we've got a wealth of knowledge in there, and we share ideas, and we're connected. And these people, other people, and other veterans groups are in there, so the word gets back to your regular, legions and AMVETs and VFWs, and so we are well integrated into both the Merrill community and the veterans community. And yeah, uh, just we're just going to keep it going, and hopefully we're helping people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve. And can you remind me, is it weekly that you guys do it?
Well, we're not quite ready for that, but yeah, we have scheduled a auction or a fundraiser for June 20th. And what we excuse me, what we have there is one of our members has a band, so he's going to play for free. We have another member that owns a catering van, and he's going to provide like brats and burgers and a full meal for like $20 a person. I mean that we're going to get a good full meal for that quality food. You're also eligible for some raffle prizes. There'll be raffle tickets. Another one of our members, lower left-hand corner, is Colonel Arnie Lang, 91 years old, still active auctioneer. So we're taking items for auction, and so far we're getting. Well, the big one is someone offered to give us a 1936 Chris Craft boat with trailer. I look. Yeah, I don't know what kind. We haven't gotten it yet. I don't know what kind of condition it's in, but in perfect condition, they go for between $40,000 and $80,000. I don't know if we'll get that, but it's going to continue the financial strength of our program, and we're able to offer other things to veterans because our community is giving money to say thank you to the veterans, and we would be the shepherdship to take the money they have given us in good faith and try to do good things for veterans, and in your case, especially for the disabled and elderly veterans, we're hitting that hard. Um, and I say that as one myself, but someone helped me, and we're going to continue to help each other.
Yeah, that community and building connections so important. And saw a comment in the chat about the amazing growth that you've had in just 1 year. So thank you so much, Steve, for sharing a little bit more about what you're all doing in Merrill.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and come to our big party on June 20th, please.
Everyone will make a road trip. Well, if there are any questions for Steve, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll hold questions till the end. I'm going to move on to our next speaker, Dana. And Dana is going to be sharing a little bit about social connection initiatives at veterans homes and a little bit about the Valentine's for Veterans program. So Dana, I'll let you take it from here.
All right. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me today. Steve, a lot of what you said will kind of resonate with what I'm seeing as well here at the VA in Union Grove. So we have a lot of commonality there. We can go to the next slide. So Union Grove, our mission is to provide compassionate care to our veterans. We're a long-term care facility, skilled nursing. We have 65 members who stay here with us currently. We have capacity to house 78. We provide medical care, social engagement, therapy, and support. There is a lot of outside support that we have that enhances the quality of life that we provide here in Union Grove. I always like to say the purpose of the activities department is to encourage members' ability, not the disability. So when we're planning activities here at the Veterans Home, we're looking at how can we make that work? What can we do to make something you were interested in, a hobby of yours, a special project? How can we make it happen? We're always looking to enhance the quality of life for members physically, mentally, emotionally, and socially. We go far beyond just keeping people busy. We're looking for specific goals, and we adapt and look for successful outcomes. So I'm going to talk about some of the fun things that we do here in Union Grove and ways that we create those social connections. We participate in the Music and Memory iPod program, which is a personalized music program for members. Any member that lives at our facility is eligible to have an iPod for them that we sit down, visit with them, program that iPod to specific music that they like. So very personalized. We participate in the Memories in the Making art program. This is an art therapy program that allows residents to express themselves through painting and creativity. A big part of this program, though, is the social connection, the chatting about stories, past life experiences. Generally, when we're creating in Memories in the Making, we're creating art around a theme, but as we're creating that art, we're focusing on the reminisce. If we're painting, if it's winter and we're painting mittens, we're talking about, when did you wear your mittens? What were you doing? Did you go sledding with the kids? We're sparking that conversation. And I think, as you were saying, Steve, once you start those conversations, our members find those connections. And there's always that commonality of being a veteran. And we see that echo throughout what we're doing. We also participate in the Cycling Without Age program, and that's actually a picture there on your screen of what we call a trishaw. Those are volunteers that bring these bikes out to the members. We call them pilots, but the gal in back is driving the electric bicycle. And then we have staff and members that can ride on the bench seat. And we have a beautiful campus where we're kind of out in a woodsy area. And so we have a lot of area that they can travel around and just get outside, get some fresh air, and see the campus. And then, as well as a lot of in-house programs, we have a pub where we have happy hour. We have a wood shop. We take members on golf cart rides. We also have one that's wheelchair accessible. We have an open art room. We have a member choir, and we do a lot of catered in meals. Kind of, as we heard before, some of the members can't get out to things like the donut programs or the things that we have in the community. So we work to bring that into them through catered meals and other events that we do. Some of the other things that we have going on, we touched on some of these already, but we have an annual picnic where we invite the members' families, and we all get outside and grill and have a big lunch meal. We have an annual fishery, and I believe you're going to get a picture of that at the end. The wood shop is a popular one again, ice cream socials, religious services, sponsored bingos, holiday events, a lot of military events, some sensory programming that we do. The Tovertafel is translates to magic table, and it's essentially a projector that hangs from the ceiling in our memory care and projects games onto the table that react to the members' hand movements. And we bring a lot of animals in to visit. We've had ponies and horses this year. We had snakes and reptiles. We're having a petting zoo come out next month. And then, of course, our barber and beautician visits. Everybody likes to chat and connect with the barber and the beautician. Kind of speaking to some themes you already heard Steve chatting about, the role of camaraderie. Camaraderie at the Veterans Home is a key driver of that social connection. I've had lots of new members come in and their families will say, we're really glad he's here, but Dad never did anything. He didn't have any hobbies. He won't want to do any of your activities. And not always the case, but more often than not, after they've been here a month or so, kind of settled in, all of a sudden they're the social butterfly and coming out to everything. And I think it is that shared experience, the shared military service, the common background all leads to that. Something that's also very important to us is just creating a smooth transition because, as I said, people are coming to us for skilled nursing. This is long-term care. So essentially they're leaving their homes, their families. A lot of their choice is taken from them. Essentially, you're not cooking for yourself. You're not spending every day with the family, things like that. So we really work to make it a smooth transition into the home. We introduce the new members to their peers. We orient them, take them on tours and show them all of the activity spaces. And we really sit down with them, get to know them, and ask them a lot of questions about their history and their interests and work to build our activities around that. And again, everything is member-driven engagement. Our entire activity calendar is scheduled around what those members want to do. So a lot of chatting with them, finding out what motivates them, what their interests are. And we create those programs based on what they say. It gives them a sense of ownership and participation in the community life. We can bring people in, entertainers, a lot of historical society programs happen here because the members have expressed that they are really interested in history. So the Kenosha Civil War Museum will come out. The Racine Historical Society will come and do presentations. And again, that's all driven by what the members are asking us for. The importance of purpose. This is something that's pretty near and dear to me. I firmly believe that everybody needs to wake up and have a purpose in life. So when we are creating those activities, we are definitely looking at purposeful activity. We're not just filling time. Purpose fosters a sense of worth, and that sense of worth strengthens willingness to engage socially. Purpose leads to connection. Feeling valued increases openness to that social connection. It encourages residents to put themselves out there, and it builds stronger, more meaningful relationships. Some examples of the purposeful activities that we have going on here. We have choir concerts about quarterly. We send out invitations, invite the families, and a lot of our volunteer staff will also come to these concerts. Members sing solos, members play instruments, they participate in the script in the program that we develop. One of my favorite things is when I come in and it's choir concert day and the members are coming up to me, asking me if their outfit looks good for the day, or they've got their tie on, or their nice dress. It's always great that they wake up with that purpose. Creating gifts in the wood shop for volunteer appreciation. We just had our annual volunteer banquet last week, and a lot of the gifts that we gave to those volunteers were created by the members who stay here. Learning and engaging with history, again, going back to those historical society visits, the Kenosha Museum, still opening up that pathway to continued learning. And assisting peers. We have a lot of members who, as they settle in and get to know each other, recognize that maybe the person sitting next to them needs a little extra help. So oftentimes we'll see them come to bingo and they'll wave one of the activity staff down and offer to help their peers who might need a little extra assistance. Again, going beyond just passing time, focus is not on simply filling time. Our emphasis is on goal setting through rec therapy. Residents work toward achieving meaningful goals, and the activities are designed to create fulfillment, not just keep people busy. One of our big programs is our Valentine for Veterans. We market and receive thousands of veterans from areas, schools, organizations, veterans groups, just caring individuals out in the community. And these are some good pictures of that Valentine for Veterans program. That's our DVA secretary there, and he is coming to the home to pass out. You can see he's holding bags. Those bags are just filled. They probably all have about 50 Valentines in them. So each member gets their own bag of Valentines, and again, a way to know that they're not forgotten and that there are people in the community looking out and thinking of them. Our annual fishery is probably one of my most favorite events that we do. And this kind of started, again, like Steve was saying, not everybody can get out. So there was a time where we were able to take outings and we would go fishing regularly. We're noticing now that as time is passing, members are coming to us more progressed in their disease and not able to get out as much as we could in the past. So instead of taking them out fishing, we brought fishing to them. We hold this event annually. This will be our third year coming up, but we have a holding tank that the local fire department fills with water. We stock that holding tank with trout. We have volunteers who fillet and staff who prepare so the members can come out, fish, and then essentially eat their catch that they did that day. But that takes a whole community to make that happen. We've got the local fire department. We've got Trout Unlimited that comes out and helps us that day. The DNR comes out for support. American Outdoor Experiences is the group that brings all of the equipment for us that day. And it takes a whole bunch of volunteers to pull that off. And that picture there that you can see is one of our members and his wife. And they got to fish for the day. And I think that big smile really says it all there. So, and that's about the end of what I've got. But I would just say when we're talking social connection, the big theme is that camaraderie, connecting with those that have had liked experiences with you, putting yourself out there, becoming comfortable in your environment. I think all plays a key role into that.
Thank
So
you
thank
so much, Dana. Again, feel free to drop questions on the chat. Thank you so much for sharing all the amazing things that are happening. I heard lots of arts programming
you.
happening in the homes and all those great social connection activities. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet.
I'm going to pass it now to Melissa. And Melissa is going to be talking more about supporting tribal veterans. So Melissa is the tribal veteran liaison with the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs. So Melissa, take it away.
Okay. All right. Please leave it on this slide for now. I'm going to kind of knee-jerk some of the things I wanted to talk about after listening to all these wonderful things. I wish my presentation was many more pages. I condensed it down from many presentations that I have done in the past, and just as we're going through, just think of each slide that we get to. I can go down and do about 10 more slides per that and tell you a lot of stories and share a lot of good information. So I will start off with saying, Buju, Animiki Kwe and Indigenous Cause Waswaganing Nindunjaba, Makwan Nudem and Shnabe and Dao. My name, that is my Ojibwe Native American language. What I said there was, hello, my name is Melissa Dowd. My native Indian name is Thunder Woman, or as I was told, the storm is coming, which is pretty powerful. I take a lot of pride in that. And I am from Lac du Flambeau, Wisconsin, and I am Bear Clan. I have been in this role. This month will be 3 years. So, done a lot of things over this course of time. And I'd like to start off with like a little mini icebreaker like we did before. If you go into the chat, I want you to type a word or two of what you think about when you hear the word tobacco. And I will wait for some responses. Okay. All right. Now, if you'll watch, I'm going to put my words. So, on the native side, we have our traditional tobacco. And I understand that with the commercial tobacco, there's the smoking, there's the cancer, there's the cigarettes, there's cigars, secondhand smoking, all those things. On the native side of the house, we do have what we call traditional tobacco, where it's the plant is grown, the toxins are taken out, and we use that in offering. We use that when meeting somebody. It comes first in most tribes in Wisconsin. I can't speak to all tribes, but I can speak to my own. It is not my place to speak about the other tribes, but we use that when offering. We offer it to an elder when we need help or guidance. We offer it to the earth when we harvest an animal. We offer it to the waters and thank them for providing us with that health and nourishment. So it is an offering, and we also use that when meeting one another. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of kind of background from just a native perspective. And so with that, we'll just kind of get started. So we can go to, oh, wait, not yet. Ah! So with that said, you guys probably all got a peek at that Who can tell me how many tribes are in Wisconsin? Does anybody know? Okay, let's go to that next slide. So in Wisconsin, we do have 11 federally recognized tribes. We say 11 or 12 because we do have Brotherton down near Oneida, which is not federally recognized, but they are kind of working on a lot of those things. And we as tribes recognize this land that we walk on, these original lands of our people, of all of our tribes here. Our original lands are belong to us originally. We were the original stewards and protectors of this great land and Turtle Island of which we dwell. So you can see that within these 11 tribes, six of them are Ojibwe tribes, our sister tribes up here up north. And we also have the Forest County Potawatomi. We have the Menominee, the Oneida, the Stockbridge Munsee, and the Ho Chunk Nation. And as you can see from the picture, you'll see where we kind of dwell and live today. Uh, we need to understand that not all the tribes are the same. They vary in numbers. We all have our own cultures and our own traditions. We have our own languages. And a lot of the things are very, very similar, but we do have a lot of differences as well. Next slide, please. Ooh, okay. So I really take a lot of pride in that bottom middle picture. You will see my father-in-law, my husband, and our two boys. I do have three older children, but this primarily part of our family, we do engage in our culture. We go to powwows, we dance, we sing, we socialize with one another. And on the top picture, you will see, and if you've heard about like the Navajo code talkers, there were also Ho-Chunk code talkers, and I didn't know this, so I'm learning as I go. There's a lot of things that I still don't know. And just recently, within this last year, the Department of Transportation dedicated a part of that highway to the Ho-Chunk code talkers. So I think that's a huge accomplishment and good recognition on their part. The gentleman on the bottom left, he is kind of famous in Indian country. We call him AP or Apsanaquat. He's like a Hollywood movie star. He's been in quite a few movies out in Hollywood, and is a very, very close, good friend of mine. Kind of took me in under his wing when I just got back from serving in Iraq, and yeah, so we kind of build that camaraderie, and that never really goes away with just veterans in general. And so what you'll see on the bottom right is what we call grand entry. Whenever we have a powwow, our veterans are held in the highest regard in all the tribes. And so they bring in our colors, our eagle staffs come first. And that's just a little bit about that. So with that, we'll go to the next slide. I love this transition. Okay, so what you'll see on the left side is four Native women who belong to the Woman Warriors group. They have on jingle dresses, which is the style of dance that I do. And you'll see that they incorporate their military story into their dress. These ladies they've traveled across the country and have even been out to DC to some main events out that way. The lady on the right is Lori Piesta. She was the first Native American woman killed on foreign soil. She was a friend of Jessica Lynch, which I did not know. And I met Jessica Lynch this past summer to hear her story about the things that they encountered over there in Iraq. And we were kind of over there around the same time, but I didn't know them. Um, who knows about the picture that's on the top in the middle? That's a very, very famous picture. Yep. Yep. Ira Hayes and Iwo Jima. So somewhere in there is a gentleman known as Ira Hayes. And he is I believe he's a Gila River Indian from out in New Mexico, Arizona that way. And he was one of the people that helped raise that flag. If you did not know, Johnny Cash wrote a song about Ira Hayes, and I believe he was, and also Adam Beach played him in a movie of was it For Our Fathers or something? So there was a movie about him also. So we can be kind of famous too, even though we may not be seen, we're still here. Next slide, please. So in my role, in the first year that I was in this position, at first I didn't share a lot of this story about some of the things that I had gone through. I took this job on a Thursday, and the following Monday I found out I had breast cancer. So going from one battle to another, but I'm still here. I'm okay now, but all the while battling that, I was able to coordinate with Secretary Bond, as you can see in this picture, and we visited every single tribe within 6 months. That was a feat that had never been accomplished before. And so he was so impressed and had not known about all of our tribes that he wanted to do a second visit, and that surrounded and was involved with learning about the culture, about the languages, learning about the boarding schools, learning about these longhouses that the Oneida have, and just really taking a deeper dive into the history of our people and our and all of our tribes. Next slide, please. So some of the other things that I've done within this, at our Women Veteran Retreat in Eau Claire every summer, we had the first Native American women color guard. So you can see some of my fellow veterans there, whatever branch they were from. We brought in the flags and kind of talked about our traditions, our cultures, and our traditional dress. And with the tribal veteran service officers, we do have at this time, we currently have 10. St. Croix tribe, their position is currently vacant, but the TVSOs, which are the same as the CVSOs, so there are 72 counties in Wisconsin and 11 tribes. We have a theme we call 83 strong. So we work together, we work better together. And the TVSOs meet quarterly. And so what I try to do within my role is bring something from WDVA or a different organization to kind of share about some of those resources that will help benefit our Native veterans. TVSOs will serve any and all veterans. You do not have to be a tribal member to be seen by a TVSO. If one of them is closer, they will serve you. So we want to work again, we want to work together. We want to work better. The bottom picture is me. I think that was last year. I was asked to give a speech for Memorial Day in Eagle River. Boy, let me tell you, they got their stuff together. What a beautiful, beautiful ceremony that they put on. They even had a like a cannon and the school choir, the school band. And you'll see my son singing there on a native drum. So I try to bring some of that culture awareness to different communities and such. Next slide. This is actually a trifold. We've never had Native American representation on any of the pamphlets that you'll see. You'll see things on cemeteries and the homes, GI Bill, and things of that nature, but we've never had Native representation. So, in coordinating with my team, we were able to get that is my uncle, who is a Marine, and one of my best friends, Georgian, who is a Navy veteran, and we were able to capture some really great photos and then still provide the same amount of information in some of these flyers. So as we're walking to different events, I've noticed that when I see Native Americans at some of these events, this catches their eye and they're able to grab it. It's got all the same information as anything else, but it's a little more appealing and at least it gets the information into their hands. I wanted to also mention um, uh, uh, um, with Dana from Union Grove. We have to get together after this. One of the things, initiatives we did as TVSOs, because some people say, well, what do you guys do? And it's like, they do the same thing. And an initiative we did not last year, might have been the year before, was the TVSOs gathered a bunch of items in their respective communities. And collectively, we went to some of these, we went to the one over in Chippewa Falls and then to the one in King. And we're able to give those items to the homes. And we're working on trying to get down to Union Grove. It is a little further drive for us, but we are working on some of those initiatives to be part of the team, to be just part of the communities. And we all are veterans. So with that, I want to say miigwech. Uh, thank you for having me. If you have any questions, I think we're saving those till the end, but that's a little bit about what I do. And thanks for having me. Miigwech.
Thank you so much, Melissa, for sharing about the amazing work that you do.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to turn it now to our last speaker for the day, Chelsea, who's going to talk about promoting social connectedness as part of the National Suicide Prevention Strategy and programs at the Toma VA.
Hi, thank you. I had this really dry presentation with graphs and stuff, and then Steve gave this amazing presentation that is the absolute embodiment of what we're trying to support and achieve out in the community. So he kind of gave a presentation for me. Just absolute beautiful work that you're doing up there and that the VA is trying to help support out in the community. So I just wanted to give a shout out. So I'm going to kind of breeze through the first part of this. I want to take the opportunity to discuss our strategy for suicide prevention and how it's really changed, and kind of use that as the framework for the stuff that we're doing here at the Toma VA, and then my role, which is to go out and support all of these amazing things that are happening in the community and build up these veteran coalitions. So you can advance it. You can advance it again. So the VA spent many years putting all this research into suicide prevention and therapies that reduce suicidality and keeping people safe, and kind of working individual to individual. And they really changed back in 2023. They released the strategy for 2023 to 2028 of trying to reach all the people that aren't necessarily here in front of us. And so really reframing it as a national public health issue. You kind of hear the 22 a day. Right now we're at about 18 suicide deaths per day, veteran deaths per day. 11 of those are not connected to the VA in any way. So 7 per day are folks that have some sort of engagement in the past 12 months with a VA facility, but 11, the bulk of them have never been touched by the VA before. So the stuff that we're doing internally, individual by individual, isn't reaching everybody. You guys are really the ones out meeting with people in all of your various settings. So we're trying to support that work as well. So you can advance it. So again, kind of looking at the clinical interventions, what's really helpful, but also focusing more on the community-based work that's already being done and how we can support that. You can advance it. And this is just kind of a visual on that. So a lot of the work that I do is with individual counties. I work with a lot of veteran groups. I work with a lot of veteran coalitions, regions, statewide stuff, all different levels to try to implement these suicide prevention strategies. We're at a public health, bigger community level. You can advance it. Just a little bit on loneliness. We can kind of skip through these few slides. Huge risk factor for suicidality, really prevalent among veterans, especially rural veterans. There's a big focus on this across services. Before I took this role, I worked with spinal cord injury and ALS veterans with ALS. And that was a huge point of research and emphasis on trying to reach these people. Again, what Steve's doing, going out and finding those folks that are homebound and that aren't connected to anyone, which are already kind of hard to reach. I can advance it. Significant predictor of suicidal ideation. The research is really growing in this area. Like I said, I've heard a lot about it this past year. And you can advance it. I'm going to kind of skip through some of these. Again, over half of veterans report experiencing loneliness either at sometime or often. And then if veterans who responded that they were lonely often had a 12-fold greater odd of suicidal ideation, and 2-fold greater odds of lifetime attempts. And for folks that call the Veteran Crisis Line, 16% cited loneliness as their main reason for calling. You can advance through. I can send these slides out so you can look. I wanted to provide some resources for you guys to look at if you're curious. So the 2025 National VA Suicide Prevention Report just came out last month. Really speaks to this. There's a few other specific data sets that you can look at that are also really helpful, but these are working links, like updated links, so you can kind of go through for all of your own work as well. I really like that last one, the Veterans Geography tool, where you can look at how many veterans are in your area and reach. Yep, you can forward through. So just some of the stuff that the TOMA VA is doing internally. This is kind of different at every VA, but we're kind of looking at all the stuff that's going on in the community and trying to replicate that here and create a social hub. So this is just free stuff that's going on across the facility. We have something for everybody. Project Healing Waters is fly tying and fishing that goes along with that. We have a bowling alley on site, archery clinic, air rifle clinic, different religious services. We have our library, our gym, our canteen, cafeteria on site. So if you ever come on site, you'll it's bustling, so which is good. We like to have it busy here. Pickleball, we have adaptive pickleball. There's all sorts of adaptive sports too. You can go to the next one. We emphasis on whole health, so bringing in some different modalities that are not like traditional healthcare. So this is the schedule for our whole health groups going on. We've got yoga, tai chi, fitness groups, mindfulness groups, all going on both in person and virtual across all of our outpatient clinics as well. You can go to the next one. There we go. Our umbrella, they're called VA Integrated Service Networks. So we are in the same VISN as like Iron Mountain, Madison, Milwaukee, and all the Chicago area VAs. So these are available through our VISN virtually. So they have this other whole virtual schedule on top of what the TOMA VA has. So you can take a look through. And then we also had a contract with Millennial Health and Fitness for both veterans and employees to do their virtual whole health classes at no cost. You can advance through. These are some of our special focus groups. So we have a lot of, this is just one Beyond the Uniform peer support run group. Dave Meyer, one of our peer support specialists, also does a few other specific groups. Our psychosocial rehabilitation and recovery center has a lot of like life skill classes. That's for folks with more serious mental health issues. Those are going on 5 days a week, as you can see, and we have a lot of veterans that hang out here 5 days a week, and that's just fine with us. Our mental health intensive case management program does a lot of outings. We have a lot of different outpatient mental health groups, but we don't like to call them mental health groups sometimes. We just call, like, kind of sometimes they're more resource groups than anything. But those are really targeted for people that are struggling with a specific issue. Our MOVE group is kind of a health and nutrition group. The vet centers are kind of part of big VA, but separate than VA medical centers, and they have all of their own stuff, activities, and groups going on specifically for transitioning service members. And then we also have multiple grief groups available through our chaplain service. We can go through. Some of our other stuff going on here, we have a veteran social club now that meets the second Tuesday of the month. We have Compassionate Calling Corps, which is we have volunteers that call veterans weekly to check in, and sometimes that's the only phone call they get the whole week. And then we have My Life, My Story, where veterans can sit down with someone and have it recorded. And then they share exactly what it sounds like, their life story. And those get shared with other veterans. They get shared with employees. So kind of a way to connect. You can go to the next one. These are outside the VA, but these are things that we support and are involved with. So Together with Veterans is a grant program from a few years ago to help with boosting veteran coalitions and the work that they're doing. We partner with VFW, DAV, and Paralyzed Veterans of America for some things. And then I also want to note that companionship doesn't always have to be human. So Patriot Canine is a great resource out of WASA that does service dogs for folks with PTSD. Go to the next one. Programs for couples and families. So we don't just serve veterans. We do have a lot of family programming. We have Warrior to Soulmate Retreat, Strength at Home groups. That's for individuals and both individuals and couples, building healthy relationships, workshop, caregiver support groups, grief support, and again, the Vet Center programming. You can go on to the next one. And then a lot of stuff for employees too, trying to focus on that connectedness. You can go to the next one. I'm almost done, I promise. This is a really neat website called Make the Connection, where you can look at all sorts of information on mental health, and then look through, there's a lot of videos on there of other veterans that have shared their story. Go to the next one. This is my favorite website, Don't Wait, Reach Out. You can take a little quiz to see what you're struggling with, and it'll show you what VA resource is available. And then you can advance forward. The last one is, of course, the Veterans Crisis Line. It wouldn't be a VA presentation without it, but available 24/7. Like I said, we have lots of people that call that are just lonely and don't have anyone to talk to in that moment, and that's more than okay. The Veterans Crisis Line, if you call it, you can they'll generate a consult to our local suicide prevention team. So then someone from the VA is following up within 1 day for that person as well. So that's it.
Is anybody else overwhelmed with all of like the amazing things that all of these speakers and organizations are doing? Because I definitely am. Thank you, Chelsea. We are running short on time, but again, I know some of our speakers will be staying on for our optional networking. So feel free to stay on and also ask them questions during that time. In a minute or so, I'm just going to very briefly share a few coalition updates. We'll have a newsletter coming out with the recording sometime tomorrow where we'll share some additional resources. And we just kind of want to encourage you all and have our connection challenge of the month. Maybe just write down one way that you'll engage with either a veteran or a veteran serving organization this week. So just a few coalition updates. We have a Loneliness Awareness Week coming up in June. So we're just finalizing the details for our campaign, but we're doing a Take Me Out to the Ball Game theme. So we're pretty excited about it. We have a social media campaign to use, newsletter, article, and press release. And then we'll actually be attending the Madison Mallards game on June 7th to raise awareness about our coalition and the impact of social connection. So stay tuned for more info on that. Then we also have an updated data report, and I won't share too much about this. You can feel free to look at it on our website, but we'll have another presentation at our June network meeting, diving a little bit deeper into that. And if you found this or other Wisconsin Coalition for Social Connection network meetings or resources helpful, we'd greatly appreciate a small donation to help us keep this important work going. You can scan the QR code or click the Give button on our website or in our next newsletter. And as a reminder, stay tuned, stick on if you're able to. I'll stop the recording very shortly. But we have about a half an hour for optional networking and other discussion. I'd like to thank Melina Cares and PMG for sponsoring the Wisconsin Coalition for Social Connection. And the recording and slides will be shared out probably sometime tomorrow or within the next week. And after you close out of Zoom, you'll automatically be redirected to a survey. So please complete that to provide feedback on our upcoming network meetings and coalition activities. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and stop the recording.